today, what I'd like to do is give you a general overview of all the important aspects of how to make a forward Rumba walk in the international style. Now, I did cover all the details of how to do the Rumba walk forward in a two-part lecture series that's available in our membership on Passion for Dancing. So if you'd like even more details and more exercises on how to get your Rumba walks, you might consider joining on our website and getting access to that. But here, I still want to give you a lot of very important details on how to make your Rumba walks better. So I'm going to give you kind of like the overall principles that you need to understand. So when we start, the main thing we want to do is we want to flick our foot on the floor and get 2 straight legs, okay? So that happens on the counts 4, 2, and 3. So that's just the arrival. So you're going to strike the leg down and you're going to have split weight, okay? So the back heel is just off the floor and you can see my body is on the split weight. At the same time this happens, the back hip is slightly up, okay? So that happens on, let's say on count 2, my hip is slightly up, and then on end, I'm going to be transferring my weight forward and turning out my back leg and getting into my front hip, okay? So what happens here is I'm going to flick, my back hip is up slightly, my weight is still in the center, and then I'm going to transfer my weight forward into my right hip. So I'm swinging my hip from my left hip to my right hip, okay? So this is super important. You're getting into your hip bone, and from there you need to do a rotation and body action on the right side, yes? And then again, it starts all over again. So I'm split weight. I'm feeling my hip up on my right leg at this point, and then I'm going to transfer my weight forward into my left hip. And then I'm going to rotate and flick, okay? So hopefully you understand that. Let me do it from another angle here. So the first thing you're going to do is you're just going to flick. So flicking, I've done another video, I'll link to it somewhere here. Flicking just means you're striking the heel on the floor as fast as possible and you're getting 2 straight legs. Okay, so you're releasing that knee joint as quick as possible, right? So this is the arrival point. On the arrival point, I'm not transferring my hip forward right away. This is a mistake that a lot of people do. Instead, I have my weight in the middle, so I cannot transfer. It's impossible to just jump right away forward right away, okay? You want to go through the motions, okay? So the first thing that happens is we go into split weight, and then I continue to push off my back leg, so my hip is going to transfer now forward into my right hip, okay? So now my weight is on my right hip, and I can now do a rotation. The rotation is simply so that I can move. It's like the engine that moves you in the direction you want to go. So split weight, I have a little bit of my hip here on my right side. Now I'm going to transfer. So where does the transfer happen from? It happens from my back leg. Okay, so I used the ball of the foot to transfer my hip forward into my left hip. Okay, and then from here I'm going to do a rotation on my left side in order to bring my leg in and forward again. And it starts again. Let me now back the camera so you can really see what I'm talking about. So these are kind of like the most important general overall guidelines of the forward Rumba walks in the international style Rumba. Yeah. So, and I also recommend that you always start with a body action before you even start. Okay. So this happens before even the first walk happens, and then you flick. My hip is still back. I'm split weight. Now I'm going to transfer my hip from my left to my right. Okay, so I'm going to transfer it forward, almost like a diagonal forward movement, as I turn out my back leg. Now notice my upper body, my shoulders are facing forward. Okay, so I'm twisted underneath. Yes, what you don't want to do, I'll show you the wrong way, is you don't want to do this. So you don't want to turn the shoulders together with the hips, okay? So the shoulders don't move at all, yeah? We're going to be rotating against the shoulders or twisting against the shoulders. So you can see I'm rotating here inside my body, but not like this, okay? This is super important. So again, rotating the hip back, This is just the preparation. And now I'm going to flick. My hip is still back. Now I'm going to transfer my weight forward as I push up from the back leg into my right hip. Notice how my back leg is turned out. Now that I finished my weight forward on the right leg, I can rotate on this standing leg. So I'm going to bring my hip back. So rotate, and I'm also using body action from my back, rotating, and step. Flick again. Using my back leg now, I'm going to push forward into my left hip. Make sure you really get into your hip before you start rotating. So now that I'm on my left hip, I can now rotate on that standing leg. So again, I'm initiating it from this area, rotating, okay? Also squeezing down a little bit, so I get a little bit of a compression on this side. And then my leg starts to release eventually, and it flicks forward. And then again, transfer forward, getting my hip into my right hip, and rotate, flick. Transfer the weight forward, rotate, flick. Yes? So that's kind of like the general guideline. You want to flick, transfer your weight forward into your forward hip, and then you want to rotate on that standing leg. Okay? And let me show you one more time. I'm going to be facing the camera now so you can see. So again, starting in a good position, I recommend you bring the arms out. Okay? And then I'm going to rotate to just even get started. Okay, that's important. This is a preparation. So we already have a body action on my left side here to get started. And then I want to flick. Yes? 2 straight legs. Hip is still on the back leg. Now I'm going to transfer the hip forward. As I move my body weight forward, I transfer my hip into the hip bone. Okay, so now it's on my right side. Now that it's here, I can use it. This is when I can do my body action. Yeah, this is the engine that kind of propels me to move forward. So this is where I want to rotate and then step forward again. Yes? Now, again, split weight, transfer the weight forward into my left, and now I'm going to rotate on that side. Flick, transfer, rotate. Flick, transfer, rotate. Flick, transfer, rotate. Yeah? So that's what you want to do on your forward Rumba walks. Now let me count it for you as well here. And I'm going to go in a circle. And 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and a 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 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 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and. I'm going to be turning on the music right now, and I'll dance it with the music so you can see how it looks like with the music. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and these are the major principles of what makes Forward Rumba walk in international style look good. Yes? Now, like I said, I have a really detailed lecture. It's a 2-part series of how to do the Forward Rumba walks in detail from A to Z. I go into great detail on all of the components I talked about here today, but I go a lot deeper and I go a lot slower with certain exercises. So if you want to get more details on the Rumba walks, consider becoming a member on Passion for Dancing, and you'll get access to those technique series as well, okay? So let me put on the music now and show you how to do this with music.